Yenta, you want to go ahead and take it away?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you also for the introduction, first of all, both for myself and for YouTube. I feel like that maybe you could have given the presentation yourself, what you already know about YouTube. Let me get started by sharing my screen here so that everybody can look with me as well while we go through the different things that we want to talk about, of course, today. We should be good now. Can everybody?
Yep, we have it.
Perfect. Amazing. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about YouTube and how YouTube can transform your business and can do a lot for your business. But before diving into that, I think I should talk a little bit about myself and how I got here in the first place, because, of course, it's great to have such a beautiful introduction from Caleb, but I have not been a YouTube expert or anything close for several years. I actually started out on YouTube, as most people start out on YouTube, just by making some content myself. It was 2019 and I was still a broke student, and I wanted to travel, but there were no funds, so I didn't find anything better than just hitchhiking across Europe. That is what we did together with my girlfriend, and we made some videos about it on YouTube. Initially, just for family and friends, but then people started to watch. So we started to enjoy the process, and we started to learn along the way. We've done that for almost a year. Unfortunately, it didn't last any longer because, as most of you probably know, we all know what happened in 2020. We were not allowed anymore to travel. And at that point, I didn't think I was going to do anything else with YouTube anytime soon, up to the moment that I actually got contacted by a friend of a friend's who were doing something around investing. And that is where my YouTube journey actually started, with helping other people. They were creating an investment community. We posted for 4 years together, 2 years straight, every single day, one video, because they were talking about the investment market. And that is where I got in the reps. That is where I learned everything about YouTube, the ins and the outs, what worked, what didn't work, because I can guarantee you, if you're doing every single day a video with such a short time notice, that is where you learn the drill, how we say that. I've done that for 2 years, up to the point where I said that, like, maybe there is something more I can do with that. And that is where it's actually all started in 2023, where I started to work with more people, work with more specific channels, up to the point where we served right now more than 100 YouTube channels, and we made 91 YouTube channels profitable in several professional niches. And that is also what is my main message for today, is that YouTube is not limited towards only entertainment or only a specific niche. We have worked in the healthcare niche, in financial services, in making money online in any type possible, into the real estate, coaching, and even law attorneys, and many, many more, just to show you that it's not that you're limited to one niche, but actually anybody that has a business can have an advantage of going to YouTube and finding their clients on YouTube. So that is what I've been going through for the last 6 years, where we are right now. Of course, everybody knows YouTube. That is what we're going to talk about. I'm actually very curious how much of you use YouTube. You can just raise your hand, but I guess that most of you use it at least once a month, once a week. Yeah, for any type of thing. Even people sometimes maybe daily.
Yeah, regular.
Okay, that is the true power of YouTube. Even though it might not be always like business related, I think it's really interesting that in the end we're all using it daily for different purposes. So it's just a matter of how to see how your business can fit in to make it also work for other people to watch it. Caleb, I know that you have said that we will have to pass on to be able to speak. If you don't mind, I would love to know what type of business your guys are in, because then I can also play into that while I go through the presentation.
All right, here, I'll pass it around real quick. What type of business are you in?
I'm a consultant, but I was sharing with the group earlier that I'm here primarily because I support my husband's dream of having a podcast. So he put those videos on YouTube, and I don't have a lot of experience with that. So hoping to learn more.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Ente. Chuck Shaver, we met 6 months ago and we had a conference call and a couple back and forth. Nice to see you again. And yeah, if you remember our conversation, I help businesses with leverage LinkedIn. So, since we visit, I really haven't done too much on the YouTube, but it's another medium, it's another space. I do a lot of videos. It's something that I've always wanted to lean into, and yeah, just learning, trying to learn more and more and more. So that's where I'm at.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I have the screen very small, so I didn't see that it was you, Chuck. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Linda Kokenge, and I am a marketing business development consultant. And I use YouTube personally to watch videos, but I just need to understand and learn more so that I can help my clients enter into that world and help them grow their businesses through using YouTube. Nice to meet you.
Hi there, I'm Kara McCormick, and I am here. Well, we have a South Dakota biotech organization. So essentially helping bridge connections and promoting the work in the science and technology industry across our region.
Last but not least, I'm Zach Bauer. I work for doing marketing at basically a commercial industrial construction company. We have a podcast that we do, and then I've started multiple personal podcasts, YouTube videos. So good to learn more.
Chris, nice to meet you, Zach. That's good to know. Like, it's all a little bit different background. That's nice to see that all these people come together to learn more about YouTube itself. Because, of course, the ideal world would be that we can create YouTube content to get in front of our ideal audience every single day. That is what YouTube is capable of. But the question is, how do we get there? Because, in my opinion, what every business should consider today in 2025 and even more going into 2026 is why YouTube? There are a million different reasons. I'm going to go over a few of them. And then, of course, we can also see if you maybe have some others. There are the boring numbers, I call them, because you see them everywhere and everybody says them all the time. Of course, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world after YouTube, with, of course, on top of that, that YouTube and Google are the same company. So that makes it even extra visibility if you make YouTube videos, because they're often promoted also on Google in the search engine. They have 3.3 billion monthly active users. It's the biggest streaming platform in the USA, and they have more active users or more daily visitors than Netflix or cable TV in the USA. So that's also a very big one. That is something that this switch only happened this year, so it's growing every single year. We have 500 hours of uploaded video content every single minute. So that means that, of course, a lot of people are trying to make it on YouTube, which makes it a little bit more difficult, of course, more saturated in the market. But on the other hand, this number is also growing. So it means that there is still possibility and there are still opportunities to look out for. And then my personal favorite, the last one, 37% of the world's mobile internet traffic is YouTube, which in my opinion is huge, because that means that 1 out of 3 people using their mobile to go on the internet, it's because they're doing it for YouTube. These were the boring numbers. The more interesting numbers, especially when we look to it from a business perspective, is that users typically watch around 14 minutes per session, which is something that no other social media platform out there can say. And that gives you a lot of attention from your ideal client if you're also putting out your content on YouTube, of course. Over 500 million educational videos are viewed every single day. So again, like Caleb already said in the beginning, it's not only about Mr. Beast and entertainment, but a lot of people are going to YouTube specifically for this educational content. And then on top of that, we have 26% of adults that use YouTube to get their news and opinions, even more than they watch the news or they read the newspapers. People go also to YouTube for that. 59% use it for health-related videos. So instead of going immediately to the doctor, they much rather watch first the video to know what is going on and what are the next steps. And especially for the people that are looking to do business on YouTube, 90% of adults in the USA discover new brands or products on YouTube. So in some way or another, YouTube influences which products, which brands they will interact with in the future. That's all very beautiful, but they're all numbers, of course. What do I think? I have seen YouTube growing over the past 6 years that I've been doing it, from more that entertainment and only as entertainment channel towards more and more businesses are actually exploring YouTube as well. And as I have been on a trajectory through it, I feel that businesses in general have been exploring that as well. In fact, in the very beginning, I started out working with any type of YouTube channel, whether it was a travel YouTube channel, a faceless, a reaction, a documentary. I was accepting everything. But then little by little, I started to understand that actually businesses are the ones that have the biggest potential when it comes to return on investment from YouTube. And by now in 2025, with everything that has been going on, I truly believe that YouTube is the future for businesses, because as we all know, our attention span became so short. We're just doom scrolling on our phones on social media from one clip to the other, except from YouTube. That is where we go with a clear intention, searching for some specific need or problem that we need to solve, and then watch for 10, 20, 30, or sometimes even more minutes to one specific video to actually learn more about that and engage with that specific person, of course. On top of that, like we already said, it's a search engine that is tied to YouTube, that is tied to Google, so that we can show up in the search results, and that is what brings people specifically there. That is for me why every business should consider YouTube. Numbers don't lie, and the numbers speak in this case for itself. But I don't think that is enough. Like, it's all very promising, but I can also understand that it sounds very worrying, because it's just like another social media platform to take care of, and more content to create, more stuff, more work on your plate to take care of. And most of you might have tried something on social media, on other social media, with probably mixed results. It's all about, in my opinion, how to make it as easy as possible, because we're here, we have our day job, we are business owners, we have another million things to do. You want to make sure that you get the most return out of it with the least amount of time and effort put in, of course. And that is where I see that YouTube for a lot of businesses can become central assets of their marketing strategy. Because oftentimes right now, what happens with business owners I work with, they're too busy, they're doing a lot of different things, they're trying out one social media platform, they do it a little bit because it worked for a competitor. Maybe they don't see results immediately right off the bat, so they change to something else, they try something else, and then it's an infinite loop. Often resulting into making a lot of different content for your Facebook, your newsletter, your email list, your LinkedIn, your YouTube in this case, your TikTok, your Instagram, your website, and whatnot, resulting into so many different assets for so many different platforms, just getting you a lot of work with not a lot of results, with no new clients, and a lot of time invested. So with that, and together with my clients, we actually searched for a solution. And the solution was actually far easier than I expected, because what we did is we focused all our efforts into YouTube, because in the end, if you look to a marketing strategy, one long form video a week can be enough of a foundation to have all the elements you need for a marketing strategy. Because in the first place, YouTube in itself can immediately convert into potential clients, into potential leads, into people interacting with your brand that can, of course, turn into leads and clients afterwards. Second, it can also be repurposed into all types of short form content from one long form video. Just take the snippets, take the parts, and then post them into the shorts, the TikTok, the Instagram, even LinkedIn or Facebook. It can be converted from the transcript that you have from your video into written posts as well that can again go into LinkedIn or into Facebook. And even on top of that, we tend to go with our clients one step further, where we take the YouTube video, turn it into an email newsletter as well to keep engaged with our lists, and into a blog post for their website for SEO purposes. So as you can see, that brings us into a lot of different assets. Actually, for some of the people we work with, up to 30 different content pieces per week, all from this one video. And that is where the leverage is, because at this point, you're focusing on that YouTube video and all the rest can be automated. And at that point, your marketing funnel can look something like this. It's not just every single marketing platform separately, but it all works together as one ecosystem. Because at this point, all your social media can go back into the long form video, because you want to make sure that the people that are interested in the snippets, they get the full information into the video. You basically weed out the people that are very interested in comparison to the people that are not that interested, and then they can convert into a potential lead. Say with your newsletter and with your website blog post, they don't need to go back to the video because they're already a warmer lead than somebody just on your social media. They can convert immediately into a potential lead for your business. That is where you can build trust, because people connecting through YouTube, they have seen first some of your short form content, they have interacted with a 10 to 15 minute long form video, which is much more valuable when they become a lead instead of trying to convert them immediately. In fact, it happens weekly that some of our clients come to us saying that they got on a sales call with somebody that came through YouTube, sell a 4-figure service without even having to pitch, because the person that come to them, they feel like they know already the services, they know already the content creator, because they have spent so much time watching the videos. We're not talking about a few minutes, but sometimes up to a few hours of content they watched before, and they just got excited to work together without having to even persuade them. So that is how the funnel could actually look like. Of course, that all sounds very nice because you now know like why YouTube, also how it can become easy to create YouTube videos and use it for your entire marketing strategy. But all of that still can sound like a lot of work, because I know, for example, Chuck, you have made YouTube videos in the past. If you do it the right way, Caleb, you also have a lot of experience. If you do it right, it can take up a lot of hours to actually go through the entire content creation process. That is what I wanted to show you right here, because one thing that is important for YouTube is you need to know how to do it right. Too often people try it out, don't see results, just to see afterwards if they have an expert looking to it that they missed something or they forgot something to take care of. This is how a YouTube content creation process should look like, how we do it right now. First of all, you have, of course, your channel set up, or you already have a channel and it's the optimization of the channel. And actual research, like what are your competitors, what are people searching for, what you want to talk about, what is trending, etc., etc. All of that information, all that research will then guide you to some video topics. You want to go only with the ones that work the best. And once you chose the best, you need to know what the video structure would be like, because you can degrade this topic. If you don't know how to engage a viewer, nobody will ever continue to watch. And in fact, this too often is forgotten by a lot of people to do. They just dive straight into recording when they think they have a good idea. Yet 90% of the work is done here. If you don't do the fundamentals right here, your video will never get a lot of results. All of that is done before the recording, afterwards, after the recording. Of course, the video editing itself speaks for itself. Then next, the optimization on YouTube, give it a title, give it the right thumbnail, make sure that all the SEO is in place and that everything is set up correctly before you publish it. And then also follow up with how the video performs. Maybe make some tweaks, or at least learn what you did good, what you didn't do good, and how to do better next time. As you can understand, this sounds like a lot of work. And in fact, I can tell you that this entire process, it takes us around 20 hours of work per week to do this all. So that is where I know that even though it's just one YouTube video, it can get to a lot of work to get this done. But maybe there is a solution. That is actually what we were looking for with our clients. It is possible to do all this yourself, but it's difficult if you have a full-time job, if you have a business that you need to grow, if you need to take care of your family and all the other things that I just forget right now. You want to focus on what you do best, and that is growing your business and working inside the business, not spending 20 hours on doing this. So that is when we actually came up with what we now offer to our clients is the YouTube growth system. And it's basically, as you can see, very simple. We take care of everything pre-production and post-production so that you only have to focus on the recording. We use this entire sales system to bring leads to our clients without them having to worry about all the technical aspects of YouTube. And that's possible in just 1 hour a week. That's the whole end goal that we do for every single client, to create that marketing system that only consumes them for 1 hour a week and then brings them the clients in the end. It's a system that, of course, is like everything, a work in progress. It has been perfected for over the last 5 years by ourselves. It got a major update last month regarding the funnel behind YouTube and the lead tracking, but I don't want to bore you with all these technical details right now. I just wanted to make sure that you guys right now understand what YouTube is about, what is the potential for the business on YouTube, and of course, how you can make sure that it becomes the foundation of your marketing strategy so that you don't need to choose whether to do one or the other, but basically get the best of both roles. I hope that this has been helpful and that you got a better idea of what YouTube can do for you. I am more than happy to answer any questions. I hope there are more specific questions. And if it's not today, you always have here my details on screen as well. You can always reach out, whether through LinkedIn, email, or over the websites. But anyways, I hope it was helpful. And fire away the questions.
Yente, I thought that was great. And one of the things that I've noticed with businesses specifically, making YouTube for business, I feel like is so much more of like just a hosting platform for videos that maybe they're embedding onto their website or something, but there's so much more opportunity with a YouTube channel for businesses that it's like so much more than just a hosting platform. Can you just walk through like what are some maybe just type of video examples that have been working for your clients in just a couple different industries? Is it like education-based content, or like what has been kind of working in those areas more than just a hosting platform?
Yes, that's indeed a very great question, because that's one of my biggest frustrations when I come to people's YouTube, like companies' YouTube channel. Oftentimes they just dump content on it and then never look back to it. I think the best way to, if you want to get started on YouTube, you really just want to listen to your clients, to their biggest pain points, their biggest problems, their challenges, the solutions that you bring to them every single day, because you need to know that there are other potential clients out there that are struggling with the same things. For a coaching, it might be like the trajectory where they bring people towards. Attorneys is, of course, like what type of questions or what type of cases the clients come to them with. It's all starting from what you know from the daily life. If you can start from there and then validate on top of that what people are searching for on YouTube, you've done already a big step to actually get in front of your target audience.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions?
Good question.
And I just wanted to add there as well, because I know that a lot of people see YouTube as a big hurdle to get started. You don't need anything else than what I'm presenting right now. I have a light in front of me, a white wall, because I moved yesterday, like Caleb said. And here is a bookshelf that is like halfly finished. You don't need anything else. It's just educational content, you talking to the camera, bringing value to the viewer, and that will bring you leads.
Ante, this is Emily. I have a question. As you mentioned, kind of all of the steps that go into creating good content, it can be quite time consuming. As we're all looking to find automations within our day-to-day tasks, are there any AI solutions out there that would help generate some of the video topics and maybe structure ideas? But more importantly, I'm looking at AI solutions that might help bubble to the top some of those optimization insights as I, maybe naively try and just plug in my YouTube studio URL into ChatGPT. It tells me, sorry, I can't read any of this information.
Well, there are a lot of developments around AI tools at this specific point. I don't think they're already like perfect for what they can actually bring to the table. I know, for example, YouTube Studio specifically has now an AI tool integrated to understand your analytics better. I think that's the best you can get when it comes to like it's basically talking towards your YouTube Studio instead of you figuring out all the analytics. For the other parts of the optimization process, what I personally do that works best for me is the video topics list. That is something that I start initially with, and then I try to expand upon it with AI by searching like what are other subtopics that I could touch upon. The question here, of course, is that you still need to validate them yourself manually on YouTube if you want to do a really good job. For video structure, something that can help right there that I've seen work also for us very good is when we know what topic we want to talk about and we find similar videos, we use AI to just like summarize them and to see what are the best parts to put them together. So we have an initial structure, which we then can go to perfect again. That is basically the whole premise of every single step. I think you can implement AI in every step of the process, but it will always be to expand upon your knowledge or to summarize things that you still need to perfect afterwards with anything AI related, I guess.
One of the things I've noticed with what a lot of YouTube experts say is like not trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to YouTube is like there's like if there's something that's working in like one industry, how can you take what's working and maybe some of those outlier videos and apply it to your industry, and it might be as simple as like I talked with a YouTube title expert, Jake Thomas, and he's like, take what's working and just plug in your own words for your industry. I mean, don't try to like keep like reinventing the wheel every single time. And I think that's one of the things that even like Chat GPT, if you can get some of those like outlier videos or maybe topics or titles, even just even the titles of like then plug those in and kind of like see what it pops out, after doing some actual like typing in the search bar in YouTube of like industry specific things for you, you know what I mean? Or whatever that might look like. But it's, you hear it over and over and over with YouTube experts is like, don't reinvent the wheel, just do what's working. And there's a great book by Austin Kleon. It's called Steal Like an Artist. And it's perfect for this type of content creation of like, these artists throughout history have been like inspired by other work, and like they incorporate those things into their work. So stop trying to reinvent the wheel all the time and just see what's working because that's where the eyeballs are. So, and that's what this is all about, is like getting eyeballs on your products and services and ideas, thoughts, thought leadership stuff. So,
I have another question.
Especially when it comes down to titles and thumbnails, the way to attract people and make them click on your videos. You see, if you go on YouTube and you live a little bit on YouTube, you will see trends always coming back. And specifically for titles and thumbnails, I remember, for example, a couple of months ago, every single niche was making this 3-step comparison between 3 different things. Like, for example, a $10 product versus a $100 product versus a $1,000 product. And that was working a couple of months ago. Now, for example, there is the trend where people say the 7 levels of growing your business, the 7 levels of becoming a meditation expert. I don't know, like any type of niche is implementing this, what we call formats, because formats work across all niches, while topics might be niche specific.
And Dave, maybe you answered my question a little bit. I was thinking through, when you're looking at all the elements that go into supporting eyeballs on your YouTube content, your title, your thumbnail, the description where you can get, SEO rich content. Which of those 3 would you say is the top priority? And then the follow-up question of that being, when you're not getting traction and you're looking to maybe make some changes to one of those 3 items, is it best to update that existing video, or do you delete that video and repost it with the whatever changes you're going to make?
I would even say that it's limited to 2 items, title and thumbnail. That is where you will have the biggest impact. Something that some experts tend to do also, but it's only in very certain occasions, is in YouTube itself you can trim the video, and sometimes they trim out parts, especially in the intro, if they see they lose a lot of people on that specific part, and the video still makes sense without the part inside. So that is what I would say the main 3 would be: title, thumbnail, and maybe editing some of the video. I know that SEO is a big word. On YouTube, it's like not that much important anymore. SEO can be important when it comes to saying the SEO keywords inside the video, especially inside the intro, like really speak them out. But it's not that it will change anything if you put them all into the description or into the tags. Right now with AI, YouTube knows exactly what the video is about, even if we don't tell that.
Yeah, and to go to your point about deleting a video and re-uploading it, just change the title. Don't like go through the process of re-upload. That's one of the things about YouTube that is so different compared to other platforms. If like you go and edit like a description on LinkedIn or on Facebook, it just like tanks the whole post. But on YouTube, like you can go in as many times as you want and like change the title, change the thumbnail, change the description, and really what it does, it can actually increase the potential of the video if it's done right. So
the dips, the fall offs, the people deleting is that level of like second by second analytics. Can you see that?
yeah, you can see it has like the graph that you can see. And what you really want to pay attention to is, from what I found, I'm sure Yente will agree with this, is like that first 30 seconds. Like you kind of want like 60 to probably 65% retention rate on that first 30 seconds, because that is everything. If they're sticking on there and then they're not dropping off, then they're more likely to, get that like 3-minute retention, 4-minute retention on like a 8 to 10-minute video. You know what I mean?
I mean, this isn't like really a question, but I'd like you to explore, like you mentioned your service. So you were like, all you have to do is the recording part of it. This is a little, I mean, even though we visited before, this was kind of an eye opener for me because, on LinkedIn where I live, I do a lot of video, but I know it has to be short. I know if I'm over 60 seconds that it's a death sentence for the most part. So, And with posting with the text side of things, I never want to scroll unless it's absolutely necessary, again, because people do the doom scroll. But I can get away with doing articles and do the teaser there to pull them back to the article to get my long form on the text. This is like kind of opened my eyes of yeah, that's how I can tell my full story is I just do the shorts on LinkedIn and then get them to YouTube to, watch the full story. So what's your creative process is my question in regards to, is it, do a podcast? Is it, you have a public speaking event, or record it, or just you have a subject matter, you can sit down behind a camera, record all this stuff, give you the raw, and then you take it and produce it into shorts that you can use in those other socials?
I think that the best way always to go over it if the content is recorded specifically for YouTube. That is the best way to make it work. Also, I would much rather say like sit down and actually talk to the camera. Podcasts are nice, but I think that podcast, especially when it's for business YouTube channels, is a byproduct or something extra to add later down the line. Probably same with like presentations that you give, because these are normally longer videos without a very given topic where like you might wander off sometimes. And you really need to see it as part of the funnel where, like what you said about short form content, it's great to bring new people into your ecosystem, but they're not very likely to convert because they're just doom scrolling. The best you can do is make them go from their short form to watch some of your long form. Same from the long form. There again, it's most of the people will be new, will see you for the very first time. So basically, you need to convince them with the title, the thumbnail, the first 30 seconds to continue to watch and watch through the video to then maybe watch another video or go to check out your website. Where with the podcast, it's much more, as it's longer content, it's more for the returning viewers, for continue to nurture them and to actually make sure that they come back, they get more value, but not, it will not attract a lot of new viewers or new people that don't know anything about you, because it's much bigger step to take to go from not knowing you to watching a 40-minute podcast with two people I don't know on a subject that I may be not really interested about. So that is actually how I would go over it, from the short form to the long form, then eventually to the podcast or immediately to the website.
All right, I think we have time for maybe like one or two more questions.
So question for you. We obviously do a podcast that's definitely more of a niche, architects, engineers.
Yes.
But on the backside, we also do our website. We do a blog every single week, and it's definitely more targeted to, five advantages to a steel structure, like very FAQ type stuff. So I'm wondering, is that a good scenario to create a YouTube video along with the podcast, or going back and looking at maybe our top 10 read blogs and creating that content as a video and just doing that every time we make a blog, do a video as well?
Yeah, that would be a great way to get started, in my opinion, especially because you know already some way that people are searching for it by the traffic that you get from the blog posts, and it's working in both directions, because it will be easier for you to create YouTube content because you will already have the blog post. But once that you have created the YouTube content and the YouTube video, it's a very great opportunity to actually embed the YouTube video into your original blog post, because it helps with the SEO. I have seen examples where like the SEO of a website got boosted a lot because they were creating YouTube content, embedding their YouTube content also inside their website. And like I mentioned before, as YouTube and Google are the same company, they love when they get traffic from each other and can redirect from one to the other.
Those are some good topics too. One last question, anybody?
So my question is around building collaborations. I know a lot of the other social media platforms, it's easy to do things together, whereas YouTube, it seems like you have to be putting out the content yourself. So for a business like ours that we want to share other stories quite a bit, I mean, is the best way really just to do some kind of overlay on some of that content?
I have good news. Actually, I don't have good news. YouTube came with good news a couple of weeks ago. They introduced collaborations. So from now on, you can actually upload a video, then tag other YouTube channels or other people that also have a YouTube channel that are into the YouTube in the same video as well. You can actually make it as if you made this video together as a collaboration as you would do on other social media platforms. It's something new. They're rolling it out, but I think it's a great way to get started because that is what a lot of people are looking for when they talk about podcasts, when they talk about other collaborations, and they finally enable that feature.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about that when you were saying that too. Because it is almost like a Instagram type feature, where you can do like collab posts and yeah, so it's really cool. All right, Yenta, thanks so much. This has been fantastic. Um, there's his information if you want to connect with him on LinkedIn or check out his website or give him an email if you have more questions. I'm sure that he would be more than willing to help you out on those. So, Yenta, anything else that you want to add before we head out?
No, not specifically. I hope that it might have been some push to maybe get into YouTube. I think that's the main thing that I try to bring as a message to all the people I talk with, that like the true possibilities of YouTube for any type of business that are out there. The thing is just getting started.
Mm. All right, that's a good word. Well, Yenta, I'm gonna connect with you afterwards, like off this thing, off this platform, and follow up with you. But this has been great. Thanks so much for your time. And I don't know if it's a Friday night evening. You've been staying up late or whatever. I think you're 7 hours ahead of us, but appreciate you spending a Friday with us.
It's a great start of a Friday evening.
All right, Yenta. Thanks so much. Yep, yep. Bye bye. All right, I'm gonna stop this.